Hi, today I want to talk about filters, but filters are an exhaustive topic, and we're only going to take a look at the very basic function that filters do, and that's they filter data out of your data set. Well, what do I mean when I say that? Let's take a look at this worksheet here, and all I've got is I've got Superstore data based on 4 years, uh, 20 through 23, and three categories. And I haven't applied any filters to this data yet. So if I come up here under analysis and I open up this tab, it's going to show me the data table for this particular worksheet. When I open that, I can see that I have 12 rows and 3 fields of data. And you say, well, there's 12 rows and 3 fields of data, the year, the category, and sales. But if I take a look at the data that underlies this visual that we're looking at, or the so-called data table for this worksheet, there are 10,000 rows of data, and that's how many rows there are in the unfiltered Superstore data set. Okay? I can come back into that data set, and I can remove office supplies, and I can remove technology, and you see the effect it has on the biz. And if I come back up here to analysis and I take a look at the data again, I've got 4 rows of data. That's what's visible in the data set. They represent the 4 years, and I've only got one category, furniture. If I take a look at the data that underlies this in the data table, we now have only 2,200 rows of data. The other 8,000 rows of data have been eliminated from the data table for this worksheet. They're not available any longer for use on the sheet. Well, let's see one problem that new users have, and sometimes experienced users have also. Take a look at this data, and the user has category and year of order date, and then they've come back and they've added a table calculation for the percent difference, and that's just a simple, quick table calculation. If we looked at it, it would look something like this. And when they do that, they've got the percent difference by year. And they'll come back and they'll say, well, I only want to look at the last year, so I'm going to filter my data for the last year, 2021. And sure enough, I get the sales for 2021, but I don't have any year over year difference. Well, let's go back to that analysis tab and we can see why that is. We'll look at the data again. And the data that we see is 6 rows of data in 4 fields. But if I look at the full data set, I only see data for 2021. All the data for 20 has been eliminated. Okay? We don't have any data in the data set for 2020. Therefore, we can't do this calculation that needs the data from 2020 to calculate the percent difference. Well, what do? How do you get around this problem? We have to find a way of making the calculation without filtering the data set. Now, there's several different ways of doing it. I'm going to show you 3 different ways. One, we can do it with some simple calculations, just straightforward calculations based on the year. And I've created a parameter that I'm going to use throughout here. And the end date on that parameter is the end of 2021. Okay, I can take a look at the current data. And I've set these formulas up so that I can change the parameter date and look at year-to-date data. And all this equation does to calculate our current data is it says if the order date is in the year of the parameter and the day is less than or equal to the end date of the parameter, or it's in this year, then sales. And that'll give us this value. And then I can take a look at the prior year value in the same regard. And all I've done in this formula is I've decremented the year by 1 so that I'm looking last year, same date. And I get the prior year sales. And then we can come back and we can take the year over year percent difference. And all it is the current year minus the prior year divided by the prior year sales. And that's all it takes. We've applied no filters. If we were Now we can do the same thing with an LOD expression. Let's take a look at how that might work. And we're going to use the same formulas again, the same type of formula again. The only difference is that I've encased that in an LOD expression. I'm taking a look at the category level and the order date level. And this condition that looks at the current year and the everything less than the current date based on the parameter is the same as we've used before. So I calculate the current year sales, and I take the prior year sales in the same way that we did before, using an LOD expression. Okay, same expression here. I've just encased it in a fixed LOD that looks at the category order date level. And then I can take the percent difference. And it's going to calculate, it's going to come back to that same 8.3%. Now, there's one additional way that you can do this, and you can do it with sets. Sets are a great way because sets break data down into two groups, what's in the set and what's not in the set. They don't eliminate any data from your data set. You can take a look at the current year sales set. I've created a set, and that set is based on a condition by formula. And no surprise here, that formula that I'm using here is the same formula we used in the LOD expression that looks to make sure that the order date is the same as the year of the parameter and that the day is less than the date in the day of the parameter. I calculate the current year set, and then I do the same thing to create a set for the prior year, just as we've done before, the prior year set where we decrement the year by one. Same expression, nothing's different about it. Then I use those in an expression where I calculate the current year sales, and we just say if the date is in the set, this returns a true, this is going to be a true or a false. If true, if the set is true, then sales, and we do the same for the prior year. If the prior year set is true, then sales, and we'll get the current year sales and the prior year sales. And we'll just take the difference between those as a percent as we've done before. So what did we learn today? The important part of what we learned today is that filters remove data from the data table. And once the data is removed from the data table, you can't use it in an expression or you can't use it in your chart. But you have options and you have to figure out how to get the same result without filtering the data table. And I've shown you how to do it with a regular simple expression, with an LOD expression, and with sets. Thank you very much for your time today. See you next time. Bye.